Lowe's knows that free is just better. That's why MyLowe's Rewards is free to join. As a member, you earn points towards MyLowe's money on eligible purchases, get exclusive free gifts, and earn free shipping at Silver Key status, all on top of weekly member-only deals. Don't wait. Join MyLowe's Rewards for free today and start saving more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
Because the point of the game is to give clues about the meaning of the words, Heath.
Well, I mean, the point of the game is to win. That's a game.
You know what? Never mind.
Tell him to stop clenching.
Okay. You got to stop clenching.
Oh, no, you're going to get a smaller funnel. That's what you got to do.
Okay, the parts won't fit through a smaller funnel, Tom. We've been over this.
Guys. Why are you feeding chicken nuggets into Tom's ass with a funnel?
Again.
Noah!
Hey, Noah.
Jesus.
You know, okay, so you know how you're always saying we need to grow the show by consistently making a good product and then letting it grow organically?
Yeah.
So while you were talking about that, I was thinking about this week's episode and how famous Mary Toft got. Bing, bang, boom. Tom is going to give birth to 100 chicken nuggets.
It's not a bing, bang, boom situation. That phrase doesn't work, for the record.
Guys, think about it. Did you read in the paper about that guy who gave birth to 100 chicken nuggets? What? Of course I did. Have you heard his podcast? We're going to be rich, and then the dollop is going to want to be our friends. They'll be
You
like,
gotta let that go. You gotta let that go,
literally
Eli.
Never in my whole life.
Guys, first of all, you don't give birth out of your butt. Tom, you have kids.
Ugh, I know. Don't remind me. They were a nightmare about me taking their nuggets for this.
And Cecil, I get Eli and canonically Tom and Heath, but what possibly convinced you that this was a good idea?
Oh, don't misunderstand. I don't think this is a good idea, but, Tom knocked over a bunch of mic stands this week, and going along with it seemed like a good punishment. I'm surprised you aren't on board, seeing how he always talks about your essays.
I mean, yeah, you know what? I'm in.
I'm in, me too. Yep.
That a boy.
See, I told you.
Nice. Yes. So, how many we got so far in there?
It's still
like
3, dude. It's still 3.
God damn it. It feels like so many more.
Stop clenching.
It's all about the breath. Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Heath, and I'll be chairing this week's Warren Commission. Warren. Rabbit habitat. Nailed it.
Oh, my God.
And joining me are 2 original members of the rabbit-themed hair band.
It's already... I can't do it.
Warrant. Cecil
Very
and
funny.
Noah. Warrant is a band.
Warren 2020. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, we hair bands. We should have known eventually the tortoise bands were going to overtake us, but we still...
That's so good. And also joining me are 2 men who aren't allowed within 500 feet of a chocolate egg ever since that Cadbury audition, Tom and Eli.
Okay. At least mine didn't break, Tom.
Okay, it's the same reason I'm not allowed within 1,000 yards of a brothel. I'm the only one with that restriction. They wrote
Okay,
that.
so tell us, Noah, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event are we going to be talking about today?
Okay, huge thanks to patron Soggy Pants for what could be the greatest suggestion of all time.
Great work.
Today, we're going to be talking about the woman who gave birth to rabbits, Mary Toft.
And Cecil, you appreciate getting confused by the phrase fucking like rabbits as much as the next person, which, to be clear, is the lady that we're talking about today and nobody else ever. So tell us the story of Mary Toft.
All right, Heath. This is an amazing story of a woman with a roomy womb who was also an expert in animal husbandry.
Okay, I think you misspelled Duggar up in the essay earlier.
This story starts in 1726 in a town called Godalming, about 45 miles outside of London. In that town lived a woman, a wife of a clothier, and a mother of 3 named Mary Toft. The couple were peasants, so they worked like a whole fucking lot. And back then, they didn't have much in the way of maternity leave, kind of like the United States does now. So when she got knocked up for a 4th time, she kept working in the fields.
Right, but Amazon workers do get 2-day free delivery.
Amazon's whole model is labor and delivery. It just makes it all works.
As we've found out, I guess subsequently in civilized countries, it's probably not great to be working your ass off while pregnant. The wiki says, quote, she complained of painful complications early in the pregnancy, and in early August, ingested several pieces of flesh, one as big as my arm. This may have been a result of an abnormality of the developing placenta. I don't know. It's whoever was talking. It's just a random person on Wikipedia is like, as big as my arm.
I immediately looked down at my arm and I thought, that's full term. Like, that's a lot. What is happening?
It's really big. It's like the size of a salami.
It's a very long baby.
Which, I'm going to continue on, which would have caused the embryo to stop developing and blood clots and flesh to be ejected. And that ends the quote.
Cecil, buddy, going to need you to take a hard right turn into comedy. People came here for the stuffing rabbits up your cooch episode. So
it doesn't get any better, Eli.
Through this miscarriage and get to the fun.
Now we're talking about a commercial in Alabama. That's enough.
It doesn't get any better for a woman who treats her fucking cooch like a pressure cooker. Okay,
there we go. Bringing it around.
Yeah.
The whole problem with this episode.
And forget it.
Well, late in September, I'm guessing on her morning break, she goes into labor. Wow. Her neighbor was there this time, just hanging out, I guess, and watched, quote, as she produced several animal parts, end quote.
What?
So her neighbor thinks, I should package these up and give him the grand tour. So she takes him to Mary's mother,
before I did,
Ann Toft, who's also a midwife.
He goes, hey, anything about me walking up to you with this handful of random animal flesh that seems odd in any way, ma'am? What is happening right now? How do you open?
So anyway, Ann's also sufficiently freaked out by this, so she, quote, sent the flesh to John Howard, a Guilford-based man midwife of 30 years experience, end quote.
She sent it?
Yeah, that's what it said.
Just like walking up to the post office with a wicker basket of loose flesh. Hello. No liquids to declare before you ask. It's books. This side up. The open side up.
Oh, Jesus.
When they called for a man midwife, midwife has to be the most mansplainiest job title in all of ever.
Mid-husband, mid-man, man.
Well, we didn't ask a man what happened in these lady parts yet. Okay. This is going to go well for this story. I can feel it already.
Yes.
Now, Howard initially just dismisses this shit as totally made up. But I guess he had some duty to fulfill because the next day, despite thinking she was full of shit, he heads out to go visit her. When he shows up, her mother, Ann, is there with more pieces that fell out of Toft last night, but when he checks her out, he doesn't find anything.
Wait, so this guy's job was to finish up this situation and say, everything looks normal to me?
That's what he was supposed to do, I guess. I don't know what his job was. Then she goes into labor again.
Job ever.
Yeah.
You were right.
Then she goes into labor again, I guess, and she births more parts. They finally inventory these parts.
That's never a good phrase. I don't care if a rabbit's involved or not. Birthing parts? She's not a junkyard.
I guess there was a more sensitive way to say that than I did, but I don't know.
Anyway, so Mr. Potato Head, I see what's happening. We put it together.
Anyway, she shits out more parts, and then
Mrs. Claus.
they finally inventory these parts like 2 weeks later, and here's the quote. Over the next few days, he delivered 3 legs of a cat of tabby color, one leg of rabbit, the guts of a cat, and in them were 3 pieces of backbone of eel. The cat's feet supposedly were formed in her imagination from a cat she was fond of that slept in her bed at night. Toft seemingly became ill once more, and over the next few days delivered more pieces of rabbit. End quote.
Yeah. The original turducken recipe got honed a lot over the years. It was good to begin with, but
Turducken. None of this needed to happen if she hadn't swallowed that spider to catch the fly.
Right.
Like, it just went downhill so quickly.
All right, so let's continue with the tale of the worst slot machine in history. So somehow this story,
It pays out 100%. She puts rabbits in, she gets rabbits out.
She's like cat arm, cat guts. God damn it! Fuck.
Cat, eel. Fuck. Always lands on eel.
It's what's known as a slit machine.
no cherries.
So somehow this story gets to the court of King George I, and a gentleman by the name of Harry Devenant heads out from London to go see what all the fuss is about. He goes to check it out, examines her and the bunny parts, and is immediately a convert. John Howard then moves Toft to Guildford, where, quote, he offered to deliver rabbits in the presence of anyone who doubted her story, end quote.
Yeah, the original rabbit from Hat magic trick should not have been honed so much over the years. Because it was perfect already.
Yeah,
okay, so fun fact, that is actually, this story is literally where that trick comes from.
Wait, really?
Yeah. After this took place and was like really well known, a London magician produced a rabbit from a hat with the line, Mary Toft must be around here somewhere. And that's where rabbit from a hat comes from.
That's fantastic. Wait, I'm sorry, Eli. You knew about this story and still went with a Harry Potter fanfic essay?
Wait a minute, Noah. That's the one you're calling out, not like what happened to Finland, the Harry Potter fanfic.
I'm still stuck on that one. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Howard and Devenant begin to correspond about this, and it comes to the attention of the royal surgeon, Nathaniel St. Andre. St. Andre later published a pamphlet with one of these letters. So here's the letter. Sir, since I wrote you, I have taken or delivered the poor woman of 3 more rabbits. All 3 half-grown.
What?
One of them a dun rabbit. The last leaped 23 hours in the uterus before it died.
Jesus.
As soon... Yeah, that's what it says, leaped.
Dykes, you just punch your fucking belly. Like, cut this out. The fuck?
As soon as the 11th rabbit was taken away, up leaped the 12th rabbit, which is now leaping.
The original rabbit ears vibrator really got honed over the years.
If you have any curious person that is pleased to come post, may see another leap in her uterus, and shall take it from her if he pleases, which will be great satisfaction to the curious.
Yeah, no, the claw machine also got honed over the years.
If she had been with child, she has but 10 days more to go. So I do not know how many rabbits may be behind. I have brought the woman to Guildford for better convenience. I am, sir, your humble servant, John Howard.
Okay, real quick. So a modern translation, because that's, some fancy prose there. Quote, sir, none of us know how babies are made or born, and lady bits are a mystery to us all. But if anyone around wants to stare at a poor person's crotch and gawk, now's your chance.
Yes, there might even be
Pretty
bunnies.
good. Pretty good.
What?
Yeah.
What
Google
is...
translates to old-timey, I guess. Yeah.
There's a new twist on that staring thing if you're getting bored with the regular version of poor people's crotches that you're gawking at.
A week after a newspaper reported the story, the Miss Weekly Journal had this to say. From Guilford comes a strange but well-attested piece of news. Is it? That a woman who lives in Godalming was about a month past delivered by Mr. John Howard, an eminent surgeon and man midwife
Gonna have to
of a creature.
He was.
already.
He corrected people.
Of a creature resembling
he
a
actually about every.
of a creature resembling a rabbit, but whose heart and lungs grew outside its belly about 10 days since she was delivered by the same person of a perfect rabbit, and in a few days after, of 4 more, and on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 4th, 5th, and 6th instant of 1 each day. In all 9, they died, all in bringing into the world. The woman hath made oath that 2 months ago, being working in a field with other women, they put up a rabbit, who running from them, they pursued it, but to no purpose. This created in her such a longing to it, that she, being with child, was taken ill and miscarried, and from that time she hath not been able to avoid thinking of rabbits.
What?
People, after all, differ much in their opinion on this matter.
Oh, they do?
Some, well, back then I guess they did. Some looking upon them as great curiosities, fit to be presented to the Royal Society, etc. Others are angry at the account and say that if it be a fact, a veil must be drawn over it as an imperfection in human nature. End quote.
The husbands
Really?
are like, hey, honey, now think about gold bars and antibiotics.
Okay, just like a point of contention, if women gave birth to whatever they were thinking about at the moment of conception, there'd be a lot of Brad Pitt babies out there. Like, just a lot. None of them would look like you, is what I'm saying to the audience right now. None of them would look like you.
They'd look like your brother, you know?
All right, so just to review, the two sides of this argument are, this is great, we should present this to the Royal Society, or B, this is an imperfection in human nature, and that's it?
Yep.
Okay, so
Two
that's
sides.
the craziest Venn diagram ever constructed. That's absurd. I guess it's time for a quick break for some apropos of fucking a rabbit, I guess.
It's probably true.
Hey, honey, I'm home.
Oh, hello, my darling husband. How was your work today?
Okay. Offensive. It was fine. Just, poor Irish stuff, the usual.
Well, me love and laughter, a plan has formed in me mind to change our circumstance.
We're in New York, whatever. What's that? What's the
Well,
plan?
I was thinking, what if we stuff like 12 rabbits up me cooch, and then we call the doctor and say, I gave birth to them, We'll be so rich and famous.
Sorry, just real quick. Your plan for us to escape our desperately poor agrarian lifestyle is to insert 12, you said? 12 rabbits? 12 rabbits. You're going to put 12 rabbits inside your body and defraud the entire medical profession in hopes of being famous?
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
Yeah, fuck it. Why the hell not? That's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. You don't usually have good ideas.
Grab a fire poker, these bastards keep slipping out.
It's all in the breath.
Ah.
And we're back. When we left off, Cecil was about to tell us about a live tortoise coming out of this woman's birth canal. I'm assuming, Cecil.
So now the British royal family is super duper interested in this amazing phenomenon. So they send out their surgeon and the secretary to the Prince of Wales, Samuel Molyneux. So they get there to check her out, and as a welcoming gift, she goes into labor again and gives birth to a rabbit torso. They examine it, quote, to check if it had breathed air. He placed a piece of its lung in the water to see if it would float, which it did.
Holy shit, the lung was a witch? Dude, this is the best story. What?
Continuing, St. Andre then performed a medical examination on Toft and concluded that the rabbits were bred in her fallopian tubes.
What?
They leave, and while they're gone, she gives birth to another rabbit torso.
Just holding that one in for later, huh?
Yep.
She walks in. Oh, you guys just missed it. It's crazy.
Wait. So their conclusion from that test was that it breathed fallopian air?
Yeah, I guess. A little while later, they come back and, quote, a further medical examination followed, and St. Andre delivered some rabbit skin, followed a few minutes later by a rabbit's head. Both men inspected the adjusted pieces of flesh, noting that some resembled the body parts of a cat, end quote.
This isn't a real rabbit birthed by a human. It's a cat. Boo. Boring. Boo. How'd the rabbit get skinned, I wonder? Doesn't matter. Whatever.
What is happening? It's like a meat grinder up there.
I know, right?
Why is it just like one
She's going to be giving birth to
animal?
sausage links in a few minutes.
It's a bowl of Hassenpfeffer. That's weird. That is... The bowl?
The king can't get enough of this story, and he sends another surgeon out to examine Mary Toft. A gentleman by the name of Cyriacus Ehlers. When he sees her, he's immediately suspicious. She's basically standing there smashing her legs together to hold whatever is inside her where it is. And he gets a weird vibe from Howard as well, because Ayers totally wanted to be there to help this lady give birth to the rabbit cutlets, and Howard wouldn't let him. So he's...
It's gonna be like the weirdest version of the pee-pee dance ever. Just like rabbits. Should have picked something I wasn't allergic to. This is very itchy. Hold on.
I'm leaping.
So this guy pretends he 100% believes these two and says that he'd like to further study the miscarried rabbits. They give him some parts to take back to London with him, and he inspects them. He decides that they look like they've been cut with a knife or some other implement, and he also found straw and grain on them.
Okay, right, but fallopian straw, though.
It is kind of suspicious, though, but I don't know. The cat torso was wearing a diaper, so babies do wear diapers. This does, I mean, it makes some sense.
St. Andre comes back to Guildford, and when he arrives, he's told by Howard that she gave birth again, this time to 2 more rabbits. Oh my God. No word if they had detachable parts or not. She was, however,
like you'd
not
record
doing well.
I mean, all parts are detachable if you pull hard enough.
Yeah, if you try hard enough, I guess that's true. Yes, that's true.
That's the most Tom observation ever, right there.
I can break any object. Go.
This is honestly, listeners, he does this in every episode. This is the only time that comment's made sense. So. Consider yourselves privileged.
She was at this point, however, not doing so well. Quote,
Really?
Yeah, no. She delivered several portions of what presumed to be a placenta, but she was by then quite ill and suffering from constant pain in her right side of her abdomen, end quote. St. Andre had all the witnesses to this particular birthing sign affidavits.
Those witnesses would go on to vouch for Joseph Smith's golden plates and really look silly.
Yeah.
That's when they really look.
Boy, I can't believe she's not well. Is
Right?
stuffing fucking
Right?
dead rabbit parts up your hoo-ha not good for it?
I don't know.
Not well. Oh.
I don't know, Tom. I'm waiting for some woman to woman-splain it to me, so we'll see. The king orders a third investigation and asks Richard Manningham, the Bishop of Chichester? I don't
you,
know,
England.
whatever.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fucking whatever the fuck
Richard
that is.
Manningham, the Bishop
Yeah.
of Chichester. Fuck you.
So he says, go look at this lady. She delivered, while he's there, she delivered what Manningham called a hog's bladder. But St. Andre and Howard said that it was totally something else. It didn't pass the sniff test, though, as Manningham noted that it smelled like urine.
what's a bladder supposed to smell like? I feel
I
like
said it's not a bladder, though.
Okay, just point of curiosity, like what the fuck was on her mind when she conceived the hog's bladder? Like, honey, you look preoccupied in this. Don't fucking interrupt this moment, Jim. This is my time. What is happening?
This is my favorite part of the story. The story becomes something of a sensation all over England. People stopped eating rabbit for some reason. Also,
Does it taste
a
like
shit
pussy?
ton of also a shit ton of doctors want to inspect this lady, and under St. Andre's supervision, a bunch of them do. One of the people that inspects her is a doctor who taught midwives called John Marbury. He wrote a book called The Female Physician. In it, he claims that women can give birth to a kind of creature called a suitorkin.
What?
And I can't explain this as well as
trading
Wikipedia
other
can.
people.
So this is my favorite part of the whole story, okay?
God.
There's a thing called a suitorkin. A suitorkin, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sure someone could tell me better, but I'm going to just got to call it suitorkin. A suitorkin is a fabled small creature about the size of a mouse that certain women were believed to have been capable of giving birth to. The origin of this initially jocular fantasy lies in the 18th century. Some eminent physicians of the day considered it factual. It is attributed to the tendency of Dutch women to frequently sit on stoves or use them under their petticoats to keep warm.
What?
Hence causing the breeding of a small kind of animal that would mature and be born.
right.
Right?
No, because
Right?
stoves are made of mouse cum. Got it. That tracks. Right? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
I would believe this if they were like sitting on an unbalanced washing machine, but the oven, like this.
Right.
Not everyone's into the same stuff, Tom.
Marbury was I'm going to continue on with this quote from Wikipedia. Marbury was an advocate for maternal impression, a widely held belief that conception and pregnancy could be influenced by what the pregnant mother dreamt of or saw. Marbury warned pregnant women that over familiarity with household pets could make their children resemble those animals, end quote.
Huh. Interesting. We did have a pretty racist golden retriever when my mom was pregnant, so I guess that tracks. Also.
By the way, in case you're wondering where they got such a crazy idea, it was from the book of Genesis.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, about like looking at a zebra or something?
Yes,
Like,
yeah, exactly. So looking at the striped
yeah.
cows and the spotted cows and shit. It's a
Remember
biblical
that?
concept.
This is where a prominent male midwife and probably the foremost authority on anatomy, James Douglas, enters the picture.
Foremost authority on anatomy. At this point, this is a low bar in history.
Yeah,
Like, I don't feel.
This really is.
That's the
That
arms.
bears-
Okay, give
Yeah.
me five.
Name all the parts on the outside.
You're in first place. Everyone else answered rabbit dick, so...
Suitorkin. There was
The fuck?
So they keep trying to get him to check Toft out, and he thinks it's a hoax and has zero interest. Eventually, he's convinced to see her, and they produce the hog's bladder that came out of her, and he isn't fucking buying it. So he and the others basically say, that's cool and all, but we'd like to be in the room when she does it. So they let him stay, but her magic uterus gets stage fright, and while she went into labor several times, when they were there, she doesn't give birth to a rabbit.
she's like, gee, I guess I should do some impressions or something. Well, wait, look, it's the Sarlacc.
Boba Fett, where?
I love that this is the first time in this whole story where any one of the doctors was like, okay, what if we watch her give birth?
Yeah.
Just
I know,
Don't be a
right? Nobody
dick.
thought of that.
look at it.
Nobody thought of that till now.
See it with our eyes. No, okay.
Man. They should have done like, you remember with the spontaneous generation, they just should have put cheesecloth over a hooch or whatever and see if a rabbit just appears on the... Anyway, in early December, this whole house of cards comes tumbling down. An investigator finds out that Mary Toft's husband has been buying a bunch of young rabbits. Oh, God. And the same day, a porter at the hotel/brothel that Mary Toft was staying at confesses that he was bribed by Toft's sister-in-law to sneak a rabbit inside her chamber.
Look, that's not a euphemism.
Yeah, I know, right? When he questioned Mary, When questioned, Mary denied this, but her sister admitted it, but said the rabbit was, quote, for eating only, end quote, unlike her chamber.
Which means at some point someone was like, no, I am telling you, I was not stuffing those rabbits up my fun basket.
It's an eating rabbit, not a vagina rabbit, obviously. Just look.
The bishop then examines her again and thinks there still might be something up there. So he suggests that they keep her under observation for a few days. It's not that he believes her, as he's the one who sniffed out the whole pig bladder thing. It's that he's pressuring her to confess. He says at one point, he says, there must be a rabbit up there, and he has to perform a very, very painful operation to remove it, and she confesses immediately.
Well done. Well done. Classic King Solomon move. Just like, all right, I'm going to cut this rabbit fetus in half with a goddamn chainsaw while it's inside of you. Unless anyone has any objections. 3, 2... Oh, you confessed. Okay. There it is.
So here's a quote from Wikipedia. Following her miscarriage, and while her cervix permitted access, an accomplice had inserted into her womb the claws and body of a cat and the head of a rabbit. They had also invented...
First thought.
Yeah. Right? They had also invented a story in which Toft claimed that during pregnancy and while working in a field, she had been startled by a rabbit and since had become obsessed with rabbits. End quote. Later births were accomplished by stuffing cut-up rabbit parts up her vag. So that's how they did that.
Sorry, so for clarity, this whole thing started when a woman had a miscarriage and then was like, you know it would be fun. I mean, while we're here.
Yes.
You know, for her friend, that's like a live, laugh, love moment, right? Like,
really
that's
is.
fucking something.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Rabbit Births or something. Anyway, she's charged as a, get this, vile cheat and imposter. She basically blames a bunch of people, relatives, John Howard, a woman that she met and told her the procedure and said that this trick would make it so she would, quote, never want as long as she lived, end quote.
Okay, so I'll start by saying phase 3 is profit, Mary Toft. But you got to let me finish while I tell you phase 1. And don't interrupt.
She's brought up on charges and has to appear in court. Her official charge is for being an abominable cheat and imposter in pretending to be delivered of several monstrous births.
Just had that charge lying around in English law.
But it doesn't appear that any punishment was handed down to her. John Howard, the guy who was basically her promoter and almost certainly in on the whole thing, was fined £800, which is over $100,000 in today's money.
Now that was a weird Kickstarter. You think that was weird?
I mean, I feel like I would pay that amount now to have a legitimate conversational purpose to ask somebody what she thought the maximum dead rabbit capacity of her vagina was.
Yeah.
Hey, Noah, I thought we established this wasn't a Duggar story. You can't...
Somebody give me $100,000.
Few other careers were ruined from this hoax. The pamphlet I mentioned that St. Andre had published, it was called A Short Narrative of an Extraordinary Delivery of Rabbits. He wanted to get it to press right away, and he published it on the 3rd of December, which was a few days before Toft's confession. Needless to say, his star wasn't on the rise after that. Yeah, bad timing.
9/11 birthday.
Douglas, one of the only people who knew it was a hoax from the start, decided to publish a letter called The Suderkin Dissected, where he calls the theory, quote, a mere fiction of your, Marbury's, brain, end quote. So this was something of a sensation back then, as I mentioned it. So once it was found out to be a hoax, a bunch of writers satirized it. And this was the heyday of puns, so they had so a lot of this stuff is just really delightful. I mean, how can you go wrong when the 18th century word for rabbit track is prick? I mean, it's fucking just delightful. Also, do yourself a favor. Look at the old-timey illustrations on the Wikipedia page. They're really a delight. There's tons of really great, amazing drawings of a woman lying down and rabbits just marching out from under her dress. It's seriously awesome. One of the satires was a ballad called The Discovery, or A Squire Turned Ferret. It opens with this verse. Most true it is, I dare to say, ever since the days of Eve, the weakest woman sometimes may, the wisest man deceive. As if somehow not knowing how the parts work and tricking a bunch of gullible guys is the woman's fault. So
Yeah, the wisest man is not in this story, guys.
yeah, right.
Wisest man is not a grand title to hold in ye old garbage.
Yeah, that's
house.
true.
It's like,
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
All right, Cecil, if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
It took 3 centuries to figure out how these bunnies got in her. Some coyote painted a giant vagina on a mountain face somewhere, and they ran right through. They just right through.
And are you ready for a quiz from the panel?
Let's go.
All right, Cecil. As I mentioned, this is the actual origin of the famous rabbit from the hat trick. Which of the following is a real variation on that joke? In the early 1800s, Grand Mesmer Hollingworth would bring women on stage and convince them their newborn child was a rabbit. B.
What?
The German magician Hofzinser of the 1920s would put a rabbit in a hat and then change it into a baby boy.
And then
Change
convince
it
the
back.
woman it was a rabbit.
C. The English magicians Barry and Stewart, in their current live show, produce a rabbit from a naked woman's vagina on stage in front of everyone.
I've been to England twice. I missed this
That's
show.
fantastic.
Or D. Victorian magicians would make rabbits disappear from a hat using a steam press that crushed the rabbit they put in the hat to death.
Oh my God!
Jesus Christ. I'm going to go with secret answer E. Eli pulls a toy pug out of his own ass at Skepticon 2020. I think that's...
I was never invited to do magic, so they'll never know. No. Right or wrong?
Maybe?
I don't know.
Who knows?
The answer
Does
is
it matter?
C,
It
but
doesn't.
that's not how this format works. So.
Wait, you made the other ones up? I was sure that was all.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
it's
too.
just
Oh,
C.
me too.
It's just C.
Their current show does
Current
that.
Barry and Stewart live show. They bring
Wow.
up a naked lady. They tell the story. She lies on a gurney. They bring up a dude. They go, "Do you want to examine the hat?" He looks at the lady. They go, "Examine the gurney." He examines the gurney. Go, "You want to examine the hat again?" And he goes like, "Yeah, I do." And then they reach in front of her and produce a live white rabbit.
I gotta go see this show.
Get woke.
All right, Cecil.
That's not what that means.
Not enough attention is paid to the children of poor Mary Toft. What were her child's first words upon coming into the world? A. What's up, Doc?
Yes.
That's it. Just A.
I'm gonna go with B. I thought I saw a putty tat. A putty tat. It was right next to me up here. It was next to me the whole time. It's like it was my womb mate.
It's a wrong turn at Albuquerque like none other. I'll tell you that.
Mate. All right. Cecil, today we heard your favorite story about people shoving animals inside themselves. Which of the following is your second favorite in that collection of stories that you clearly have? A, the Keister Bunny. B, Who Shamed Roger Rabbit? Or C, Carrot Bottom.
Well, I'm not into shaming, but I do love redheads. So carrot bottom all day. Carrot bottom.
All right, well, nobody's tripped you up yet, Cecil, but I think I
Okay.
got you here.
Here we go.
What do you give to a woman who's giving birth to rabbits? A, a lepidural. The Latin word for rabbit. B, Hydra cottontail. C, lagomorphine. Or D, other hopiates.
Hoppy. Hoppy I got because I didn't need to know
it's so
things.
good. I'm going to go with secret answer E and abortion.
He did get it. That's correct.
So good at it.
All right, Cecil, you are the winner.
Okay. Why don't we go with Tom next week? Tom seems to like
There's a lot of work
doomed
to write
things.
one of these. Can we get
Yeah.
someone else to do them?
All right, well, for Cecil, Noah, Tom, and Eli, I'm Heath. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, Tom will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear Tom and Cecil on Cognitive Dissonance, and you can hear Eli, Noah, and myself on God-Awful Movies, The Scathing Atheist, and The Skeptocrat. And if you don't hate freedom, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, listen to past episodes, connect with us on social media, or take a look at the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com. And that's 12. Great. Let's call some people. Good work.
Oh, indeed, husband we shall.
Hey, just real quick, any chance this could backfire?
Oh, Tobias Bartholomew Enright, you are such a worrywart.
Yeah, no, it's cool. No, it's a stupid question.
Our last name is Enright.
I don't know who I am in this show, but it's a fucking nightmare.
You know, you're the guy who ass eats chicken.
Yeah, I guess. I said in this show, like I was referring to like the character.
You're typecast.
Anyway.
Don't worry about it. Don't think too hard.